Greetings. My name is Ken Weidsma. I'm the chaplain here at Willamette University, and it's a privilege to be not only here with you at the 2026 convocation, commencement, but also to offer a brief invocation. You may be seated. To the graduates, congratulations on achieving something, one of the few things in life that can't be taken from you. And to all the friends and the family that are here in support, we're very grateful for you. And as we gather for this commencement ceremony at Willamette, we pause in gratitude for this moment, for this community, and the journey that has brought all of you to this day. Today is a celebration of achievement, perseverance, and growth. Over the years, you've been shaped not only by classrooms and coursework, but by friendships, challenges, conversations, and the shared life of this university community. And now you leave this place carrying not only your degree, but responsibility. At Willamette, we often speak about the call to turn knowledge into action, to use what has been learned in service to the world around us. One of Martin Luther King Jr.'s most famous sayings about education and the purpose of education actually was to a junior high group, but it's taken on significance to education around the world. He said, life's most persistent and urgent question is, what are you doing for others? Part of the mission of the College of Law is that the next generation of leaders would be dedicated to serving their communities and to the legal profession. So may you, the class of 2026 graduates, go forward with wisdom, compassion, and the courage to contribute meaningfully in a world that deeply needs thoughtful and principled leadership. So if I may, I'll offer this short prayer of invocation. Creator, may this day be filled with joy, pride, reflection, and hope. May these graduates of Willamette University go forward with their law degrees with clarity of purpose, generosity of spirit, and a deep commitment to serving the world around them. Amen.
We'll begin with Willamette's land acknowledgement to reflect on our history, out of our respect for those whose relationship to the land precedes ours, and to collectively engage in fundamental measures that advance justice for the indigenous peoples of the region, past, present, and future. We're gathered on the land of the Kalapuya, who today are represented by the Confederated Tribes of the Grand Ronde and the Confederated Tribes of the Siletz Indians, whose relationship with the land continues to this day. We offer gratitude for the land itself, for those who have stewarded it for generations, and for the opportunity to study, learn, work, and be in community with this land. We acknowledge that our university's history, like many others, is fundamentally tied to the first colonial developments in the Willamette Valley, and we respectfully acknowledge and honor past, present, and future Indigenous students of Willamette. So good morning, members of the Willamette Law community, students, faculty, friends, parents, family members, Willamette University Board of Trustees, President Thorsett, distinguished guests, and most importantly, the class of 2026. Welcome to the law school's 140th commencement ceremony. My name is Jeff Dobbins, and I'm dean here at the law school. Thank you for joining us to celebrate our graduates. And while we will focus on those graduates today, I want to first take a moment to recognize all of you and everyone who has helped the graduates get to this point. The impact of your support on the success of the class of 2026 cannot be overstated. So, class of 2026, please join me in thanking your parents, siblings, spouses, children, relatives, friends, and loved ones for everything that they do and have done to support you through your law school journey. Thank you all. I also want to acknowledge that this is a doubly special day. So to the mothers who are here on the platform, to those among our staff helping us today, to the mothers who are graduating with us, and to those in the audience with us and online, a very, very happy Mother's Day. Thank you for all that you do and for the care and pride you bring to your children. And then finally, while we're on the topic of thanks, let me take a moment to recognize the dedication and effort of my colleagues, the staff and faculty here at the law school and the broader university. Many of them are here today. Faculty and staff, would you all please stand? And I would invite all of you to thank them for their work and dedication helping our graduates get to this point. Now, class of 2026, congratulations, you made it. Take a moment, pause, cool down a little bit. I understand it was hot in the hallway, let it soak in. But through long study sessions, difficult exams, and demanding classes, you have accomplished this goal. And now here you are at commencement, looking ahead to your future. And as you sit here preparing for what comes next, I hope you'll take a moment to just be proud of everything you've achieved. Over the last few years, you've gained the legal knowledge and skills to think critically, to advocate, to analyze, to approach complex problems, and this has taken hard, consistent work on your part. And you leave at the very least knowing that you are capable of accomplishing difficult things. So what comes next after you leave the structure of law school? What does your future hold? Well, sorry, I guess the first answer for many of you is the bar exam, but it might be hard to think much beyond that. But there will be a beyond that. Some of you will remain here in Oregon, others will return home, others maybe head somewhere that's completely new for you. You can join small firms, large institutions, government service, public interest work. You might hang your own shingle. But wherever you're headed, what matters is not the specific path you take, it's how you approach that work. And I can confidently say this, you are prepared. I've seen the work that you've put in over the last several years. I've seen you grapple with difficult material and support each other and push yourselves to grow. And I've seen you work to become better professionals and thinkers and advocates. And what lies ahead of you will feel like a new kind of effort. It's not as structured. You're not going to need to rely more on what motivates you as opposed to worrying about grades or what particular professors may think. What comes next may feel like a more difficult effort because you are going to be in charge on your own. But that effort will also, I hope, be more meaningful and rewarding. The work that you do from this point on will have real consequences and real impact for your clients. You'll be making decisions where the stakes are high and the answers aren't always clear. You'll be called upon to exercise your judgment, to apply what you've learned in situations that'll look different from what you saw in classes. Some of you have already tasted this in clinics and externships or other jobs, and that's what makes this profession tangibly meaningful. The work that you do makes a huge difference for your clients, for the people connected to them, and for the legal system as a whole. Now, for some of you, your impact is going to be broad. You're going to shape policies and institutions and systems. For others, it will be personal and direct. You're going to be helping individuals and strengthening families and supporting communities. But every step that you take for your clients, all of it matters. So use that as motivation. While you're coming to an important finish line in part of your career, you also stand in an important starting line for a new kind of effort. And that said, here's one last thing to remember. In this new stage of your career, there will still be people to help. You will get help from your colleagues, you will get help from your clients, you will get help from your mentors. And throughout this, I hope you will continue to do what you have done in law school. Approach the process with curiosity and a willingness to improve, resist the temptation to settle for good enough, continue building toward excellence, make space in your life to ask questions, to seek feedback, to correct mistakes, and ultimately to learn. And remember, all of us are just a phone call or an email away. We welcome the chance to hear from you, to answer questions, or to help wrestle with ideas for your cases or job changes. And when the work becomes difficult, return to your sense of the purpose and remember why you began this path. Remember the spark that brought you here, and remember that you are more than capable of rising to the occasion. And continue trying not only to succeed, but to make a difference. So, class of 2026, as you stand here at this new starting line, at this new commencement, I speak on behalf of everyone here today when I say that we cannot wait to see what you will do next. So once again, my heartfelt congratulations go out to each and every one of you. We are proud to call you Willamette graduates. Well done, class of 2026. So now it is my true honor to present this year's commencement speaker, Dan Rayfield, Attorney General for the state of Oregon. General Rayfield was sworn in as Oregon's Attorney General in 2024. He previously served in the Oregon legislature for a decade, including as Speaker of the House and as co-chair of the Ways and Means Committee. And we are very proud to say he is a 2006 graduate of Willamette Law. So A.J. Rehfeld, it is a joy to have you here with us today. Please join me in welcoming him as this year's commencement speaker.
Well, happy Mother's Day, everyone. Good to see you. All of you are about to embark upon a profession that is tied to one of the oldest and continuous traditions in history that is associated with any profession. It's a tradition, it is a heritage that you probably didn't even contemplate when you applied for law school. For more than thousands of years, an entire world, generations of humans have engaged in this tradition. In fact, translations of old transcripts suggest that this tradition started during the times of the Greeks, back when lawyers weren't even called lawyers, they were called speakers. And today, it's a tradition that has resulted in the authoring of thousands of books specifically on this subject. What is this tradition, you might ask? It is, of course, the lawyer joke. It is the constant teasing and mocking of our profession through the use of satire. Welcome to your future. Think about it. Honestly, think about it. No one has made fun of chefs for thousands of years. Shopkeepers? No. The farmer? Absolutely not. Not even tax collectors have been made fun of as much as the lawyer. Now, although I do think in the long run, tech bros and crypto bros might give us a run for our money, Elon Musk may be the best thing that ever happened to lawyers. Just don't know. During ancient times, let's talk a little bit of history here. Cicero wrote half jokes about lawyers twisting facts and prolonging cases. About 1,000 years later, medieval times, you had a medieval proverb that would read, "He who goes to law for a sheep loses a cow." 500 years later, Benjamin Franklin, one of our founding fathers, said a countryman between two lawyers is like a fish between two cats. Now, 250 years later, we start getting into technology. David Letterman on the TV, he sits there and says a top 10 list about signs that you hired a bad lawyer. One of those is that the phone number for that lawyer was 1-800-SHYSTER. So for me, and this is kind of serious, 1,000 years of histories of these jokes, right? And the unlimited quantity of these jokes, it creates a ton of dissonance. And here's why. Because I genuinely believe that all of you are about to join a profession that is built upon service to people. As lawyers, you're going to help businesses during their most vulnerable and pivotal moments in life. You're going to help victims of crime grappling with loss, trying to make sense of what is justice in this world for them as people. Others will help struggling families, trying to find a path out of conflict and one to a better future. You'll help businesses, you'll help entrepreneurs that are taking risks while trying to navigate incredibly complex systems. Many of you will help people struggling, trying to find stable footing in life as they grapple with the criminal justice system. Some of you are going to help individuals, families, and businesses plan for their future in times of optimism, in times of success. And then you're going to help those exact same people in times of uncertainty and loss. So, well, that echoed. So, if this is, as I say, an occupation based on service, why are lawyer jokes so pervasive? I think we have to ask ourselves that question. And why have we as a profession just accepted this as the norm or a hazard of the job? Now, I'm not saying we need a marketing campaign to reverse this. Only a lawyer would think that we need a marketing campaign to improve the image of lawyers. And I don't believe we're going to change a 2,000-year-old perception overnight. But I do believe each of us, throughout our entire careers, has a responsibility to be stewards of our profession. Because behind many of these jokes, there are real fragments of personal experiences that people have had with lawyers. So I want to challenge you, all of you, on your path throughout your professional career, how you measure your success, right? So every morning when you get up, you stumble down your hallway, you grab your cup of coffee, you sit down at your kitchen table, and you look at your dashboard metrics of how you define success. Money in the bank, cases won, souls crushed. Am I right? What I want you to do is I want you to add one additional metric, okay? And that is this. How many new lawyer jokes have been created due to my actions? That's what I want you to ask yourself every morning. Every morning. Now, I'm going to tell you, we are not off to a good start today. Today is Mother's Day, okay? I'm very confident that no mother ever wanted to spend their day with a bunch of lawyers, okay? Growing up, I know my mother told me that she wanted to spend her special day with an aggressive amount of lawyers. And in fact, she's here today. She's in the back. Everybody wants to turn around and wave to her. No, I would not bring my mother to this. What is wrong? Come on. This is Mother's Day. Goodness gracious. Only a lawyer would have the type of unchecked, self-important confidence needed to make Mother's Day a celebration for new lawyers. And then try and convince all of you that it was really about the moms. No. Dean Dobbins, you could have changed this. It could have been a so-called like free Mother's Day movement here on the Willamette University campus. This could have been your legacy, other than raising their tuition, I might add. While we're at it, I didn't get any scholarships when I went here, okay? It took me decades to pay my student loan debts off, so this thing's off the rails. So, now, to add to you in this challenge of not creating the new lawyer joke, what I do want to do is I want to give you 3 examples of lawyers not to be like. The first one is don't be the self-important lawyer. We all know who this person is, and boy, aren't they so incredibly smart. The sounds that they love most are the sweet, sweet sounds of their very own voice. I honestly don't care how big a trial you won, right? I don't care how much money you make. I don't care what your title is as Attorney General. Don't really care, or how many times that you've argued in front of the Supreme Court. The fact is, none of us are that important. But the work that we do is incredibly important. Over time, it can be incredibly easy for any of us to tie our personal identity, who we are, to that of being a lawyer. And you see this in a lot of professions. People who conflate who they are with what they do for work, sometimes giving them a sense of self-worth. So when you start feeling yourself doing this, stop and remember this. It is who you are as a person, a friend, a father, a mother, not as a lawyer, that gives you worth and gives you importance in life. Being a lawyer only makes you annoying. Now, the second type of lawyer not to be like, don't be the dismissive lawyer, the lawyer that's dismissive and rude to others, okay? These people are out there, and you're going to see them. This lawyer doesn't treat their staff, other people's staff, the courtroom staff, opposing counsel with respect. And likely they don't people treat at the restaurant, the gas station, or the dentist office with respect. What you need to remember is that your success as a lawyer is entirely dependent upon the people around you. I wouldn't be here without somebody called Candy McPhee. Candy McPhee was my assistant for 18 years and helped me do what I do for our clients together. She's now with me at the Oregon Department of Justice. I wouldn't be here without my family, my wife who puts up with me, and my son who's 14, who's just a monster. They make you who you are, and you need to remember that. We are merely one small cog in an incredibly big wheel. And so what does this mean for us as you're thinking about it in a proactive space? It means creating an environment of respect, and that's on all of us in each one of our offices. We have that responsibility. Understanding that the most people around you are working exactly as hard as you are. It means listening and being willing to receive constructive feedback and creating an environment where people feel comfortable giving you that feedback. And it means allowing everyone to share in your success. Now, the third thing is don't be the lawyer that is needlessly adversarial. Oh, my goodness. There are some lawyers that think that being adversarial just means that you're doing your job. I have never, absolutely never, gotten to the conclusion of a case and thought, boy, if I had just been a jerk, I could have gotten a better result for my client. That is a fallacy, but there are people out there that you're going to see that act this way. And you know what? We all know who those lawyers are. We remember those lawyers, and what you need to remember is that I've seen it impact them personally, and I've seen it impact them professionally, and even worse. In certain cases, I never practiced family law, but I would see the way that the lawyers acted in cases would have negative impacts on the very people they were trying to serve. You need to remember that. Life is absolutely too short for needless tension. So, we've talked about some things that you shouldn't aspire to do, but I also think that it's important we go for extra credit, right? Don't add new lawyer jokes, but how can we improve and be a steward of our profession? So the first one that I like to say is, know what your North Star is in life. Know what it is personally, know what it is professionally. Know what provides you fulfillment and happiness in life, and seek that out. And it's simple things. As you're building your career and you're starting off, knowing do I want to be in trial? Does that provide happiness for me? Or do I like planning with people, right? Simple things like that. Understanding the practice and how that implements with you. Do you want to be a business owner and the stress that comes with that? Or would you like to be in a 9-to-5 job where business continues to come in through the door? These are really important things to think about. Who you spend your time with. This is incredibly important. And you need to make these decisions very often and continue to reflect upon this. Your profession is going to be much more fulfilled when you enjoy going to work every day and you enjoy the people that you're around. Constantly reevaluate this. You're never going to get it 100% right, but continue to work for it, because the person that is fulfilled in life will ultimately provide or be the best partner for your clients, your community, and your family. Number 2, and this is incredibly important, invest in yourself. That seems silly to say, right? But taking time away from your practice to invest in yourself personally and professionally is going to seem like an impossibility, whether it's vacation or whether it's taking a week-long skills-based CLE. It's going to feel impossible because a lot of that activity is not billable hours. For me, what that meant is I would take weeks off, trying to actually make myself a better lawyer, taking skills classes that weren't your typical, how do you be an ethical lawyer? It was, how do you do better at trial? How do you do better at deposition? I would go into courtrooms and I would watch lawyers that I respected and watch them try cases. Now, how they tried cases may not be what was right for me, but it helped me be a better lawyer over time. It also means not sacrificing yourself for your or your family for your career. I always like to say, if you can't help others and you can't take care of yourself, you can't take care of your clients. And the final thing is 3. The best lawyers, I think just the best people in life, invest in other human beings. All of us sitting here today are in a position of privilege. When I sat in your seat, if someone told me with $140,000 in student loan debt, I wouldn't say that felt like a lot of privilege. But in hindsight, it absolutely was, and it is. We are all here because someone took time to invest in us as individuals. Now, more than ever, in my opinion, this is needed in our society and in our world. Invest in your friends, your family, your coworkers, your community, because 30 years from now, no one will remember any of my legal triumphs. No one will remember who the Attorney General was in 2026. But what I do know is that my son will remember me clearing my calendar every single week to make sure that I was at all of his track meets and every single one of his band practices. For you, the people that you mentor throughout your career will remember you, taking time out of your busy life to make their path in life just a little bit easier. Now, 30 years from now, you will not remember who spoke at your graduation. As I stand here today, I don't remember anyone that spoke at all of my graduations. And I have no idea what that says about me as a person, and I'm not going to think about it. But what I want you to do is remember this. It doesn't matter what path you take in law. You are entering a profession built on service to people. And that brings with it, and this is important, an incredible amount of responsibility and trust. So, be stewards of your profession and those that you seek to serve. And on a final note, I will leave you with one lawyer joke. A lawyer never says goodbye. They merely enter a new phase of oral argument. So thank you very much. Happy Mother's Day.
A.G. Rayfield, thanks so much for your inspiring and grounding address. We will accept your feedback and fold it into future years. But really, you are an exemplary role model for our students and our community at large, and we really appreciate your dedication to the law school, to Willamette, and to the state of Oregon. So thank you for being here. Before proceeding to the presentation of diplomas and hoods, I wanted to pause briefly to recognize a few faculty members. First, I would like to recognize the Willamette Law Faculty Member of the Year. This award is voted on by the graduating class and given to the faculty member whose teaching has had a significant impact on the class. The 2026 Faculty Member of the Year is Professor Robin Merrill. Professor Merrill joined Willamette Law as an adjunct in 2021, and we are so fortunate to have had her with us as a full-time instructor since that fall. As a teacher, students regularly benefit from Professor Merrill's ability to make difficult and complex subject matter easy to understand and enjoyable to learn at the same time. Her classes are described as organized, informative, challenging, and accessible. She encourages discussion and interaction in her classes, giving her students space to think critically and learn the subject matter while also preparing them to become attorneys. Professor Merrill, would you join me at the podium? Great. Professor Merrill, on behalf of the class of 2026, let me thank you for your many contributions to our community and the lasting impact you have had on our graduates. This plaque recognizes the significant positive impact you have had as a teacher, as a mentor, as a scholar, and reflects that the class of 2026 has selected you as Faculty Member of the Year. Congratulations, and thank you for your many accomplishments and dedication to our institution. Next, I have the honor of presenting the Robert L. Misner Award for Faculty Scholarship to a member of the Willamette Law faculty. The Misner Award is presented each year to a Willamette Law professor whose scholarship has contributed significantly to the national or international legal canon. And for his recent scholarly work, this year's recipient of the Misner Award is Professor Stephen Green. Professor Green is a nationally recognized scholar focusing on First Amendment law involving issues such as school prayer, public funding of religious institutions, public religious displays, and freedom of speech. He's a widely sought speaker and has taken part in over 100 lectures and presentations. He's a prolific author. He's written over 50 book chapters, articles, and commentaries alongside over 25 friend of the court or amicus briefs at the U.S. Supreme Court. His writings have been cited by the U.S. Supreme Court and lower courts. And in addition to all of this, he's also just recently published his 9th book. Professor Green, could you please join me at the podium? In recognition of your many scholarly accomplishments and the impact your work has had and continues to have on the legal structure of our nation, we are very pleased to award you the Robert L. Misner Award for Faculty Scholarship. And this plaque recognizes the honor. Thank you for your many accomplishments and dedication to Willamette Law. And finally, I have the honor of presenting the Jerry E. Hudson Award for Excellence in Teaching to a member of the Willamette Law faculty. The Hudson Award is presented to a Willamette Law professor who demonstrates excellence in teaching and distinguished leadership. And this year, we have the pleasure of honoring Professor Jillian Schroeder-Fenlon. As a teacher, Professor Schroeder-Fenlon is praised as organized, informative, and thoughtful. She is super approachable, respectful, and works hard to take different approaches to ensure that class is engaging, informative, and practical. She goes above and beyond to ensure that her students are not just completing their work, but truly absorbing and understanding the material. And one student said she is one of the best parts of Willamette Law. Professor Schroeder-Fenlon, could you please join me at the podium? So with appreciation for your dedication to and care for your students, for the clarity and organization that you bring to your work, and for your commitment to both excellence and understanding in your classes, we are pleased to award you the Jerry E. Hudson Award for Excellence in Teaching, and this plaque recognizes the honor. Thank you for your many accomplishments and your dedication to Willamette Law. And now, what you all came for. Will the candidates for the degrees of Doctor of Jurisprudence and Master of Laws please prepare for the degree conferral? Mr. President, upon the recommendation of the faculty of the School of Law, I present to you these candidates who have completed the program of study for the degrees Doctor of Jurisprudence and Master of Laws.
Will the candidates please rise? By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of Willamette University and by the State of Oregon, and upon recommendation of the faculty, it is my pleasure to confer upon you the degrees Doctor of Jurisprudence and Master of Laws with all of the rights, duties, and privileges thereto appertaining. As evidence thereof, you will receive the diploma of graduation bearing the seal of the university and the signatures of the proper officers of the corporation. Congratulations, graduates. And you may be seated.
Thank you, President Thorsit. So now we're ready to proceed to the presentation of diplomas and hoods. Since the Middle Ages, the hooding has symbolized the awarding of a graduate degree, and as the names of each JD graduate are announced, please note that 23 of these names are followed by the Latin words summa cum laude, magna cum laude, or cum laude. These words indicate the students who graduate with honors, specifically those students whose academic performance during their 3 years of law school ranked them at the top of their class. And according to academic tradition, these students wear gold, silver, or white cords, respectively. We also proudly honor our veteran students who wear red, white, and blue cords. Associate Dean and Professor Kelly Gamble and Professor Aaron Simowitz will be presenting the graduates. Dean Emeritus and Professor Curtis Bridgman and Professor Susan Cook will be the hooders. These professors have been chosen by our graduates for this purpose. The class valedictorian, Isabel Hayes Hannell, will begin our presentation of diplomas and hoods. And as valedictorian, she is recipient of the Aristion Simeon Simeonides for outstanding academic achievement. Dean and Professor Simeonides is unable to be here today. He's serving in Brussels with the European Union, but he sends his congratulations to our valedictorian, and in his absence, I will present her with the medal commemorating that award. Isabel is then followed by the graduating Student Bar Association officers elected by the students and all of the rest of our 2026 graduates. So with that, it's time for us to start. Great. I guess we are rolling. So, okay, where do we get the people dismissed? Can we get people rolling? There we go. There we go. Yep.
Isabel Hayes Hannell, Aristion Simeonides Award, summa cum laude. Finn Dalton. Alejandro Perez Morales. Svi Davenport, cum laude. Brian Reles. Gabrielle Aline Lusby. Francisco Xavier Luzania. Lexi Hall. Jessica Angela Adams. John Daniel Ahrens. Colby Sterling Alexander, cum laude. Keyshawn G. Athrea. Alexa Leilani Bascon. Tina Bender. Zachary Christopher Blanc, magna cum laude. Gage Allen Brock. Cameron Blair Bryant. Gracie Kaylin Bolza. Jordan Alexa Bunn. Seth Vessel Birch. Madeline Emily Camacho. Cum laude. Christian Celio Espinosa. Lily Ray Christopher. Samantha Clements. Matthew Armand Combs. Ryan David Coons. Megan Marie Crowley. Kieran Core Dillon. Iris Dong. James Dunning.
Samantha Isabel Duran Machuca. Callie Ely. Anna Eisenstein, summa cum laude. Lucas Farnand. Amanda Jane Giles. Nope. Parbeen Kaur Gill. Jackson Gould. Emery Ann Greenwood. Camilo Guizar. Allison Elizabeth Harper. Emily Ann Harris. Peter Henning. Mary Ann Hibbler, cum laude. Moana Oud Kamran. Michelle Hunt. Megan Jackson. Shreya Jayush Jani. Celeste Jones. Lauren Keller. Daniela Kirtley. Kristen Grace Kowalski, magna cum laude. David Larson. Benjamin Leslie, cum laude.
Brian Ma. Jackson Hamilton Mannering Perks. Cole William Martsfield. Devin Joan Matthew. Taya Oni Absidi Medeiros Hoshino Kraus Labatt. Michael Middleton, magna cum laude. Nicole Ann Montero Mira. Max Isaac Moran, cum laude. Brandon Shane Pappy, cum laude. Parel Rohit Patel. Christiana Nicolette Primavera, cum laude. Hannah Siting Therese Purdy, magna cum laude. Lena Donye Quech. Nicole Robin Rascon. Carissa Alexis Redmond. Michaela Marie Rezai. Tasman Rubin. Abigail K. Rivera. Julissa Rivera Ray. Monica Rodriguez. Evelyn Renee Roan. Keegan Sanchez.
Amanda Jane Saunders. Kaylee DeLee Sewell. Zechariah Shahab Dirdak, cum laude. Joshua McKay Sheen, magna cum laude. Benjamin Jacob Simpson. Raisha Seekig. Evan Graham Solomon. Jane Elizabeth Somerville. Sandra Elizabeth Jean Stewart. Adam Christopher Streva. Angela Tam, summa cum laude. Constance Tam. Adri Trom. Felix Hugh Tyson, magna cum laude. Jefferson Van Domelen, magna cum laude. Pao Vang. Richard Velez. Braden Patrick Werner. Court Lyman Wildfang. Matthew Willis. Dylan George Wright. Anthony Wurst, magna cum laude. Cassandra Lizani, cum laude. Claire Ziller, cum laude. Derek Zorea. Simon Zorea. Joey Zubricki. Catherine Wilhoff. Andrew Yuping Yuan.
Friends and family, I present the Willamette University School of Law class of 2026. Good afternoon, and congratulations to our graduates and to your families. I'm pleased to share in this recognition of your academic achievement together with friends, family, fellow students, and faculty. Let me add my own welcome to the moms here in the class and in the crowd. I hope that we are helping put an extra spark of joy in this special day. As I was listening to our wonderful Attorney General talk about tradition, especially the tradition of lawyer jokes and the resistance of tradition to change over thousands of years and the importance of grassroots work to change that. I was reflecting on the rigidity of tradition, especially in the face of authority. So some of you may know that my father was a faculty member here. He moved here, brought our family here in 1967. And served for a long time, and then served as the marshal of the Arts and Sciences faculty, which meant he led processions for many years before I arrived. My own mother isn't here today, but she is watching this event on the live stream, so hi, Mom. But those of you doing the math may recognize that means this is the 60th Mother's Day that she has shared with Willamette's graduates. When my own appointment to this job was announced, as it happened 15 years ago on Mother's Day on this stage at commencement, she took me aside afterwards and said she had 3 things she wanted from the new president of Willamette concerning traditions. Item number 1, I was to bring back the chocolate fountain at the staff and family holiday party. Accomplished. The second thing she demanded was that I needed to bring back the bagpipers at commencement. Also accomplished. Charge number 3, well, 2 out of 3 isn't bad. So graduates, just 3 years ago, I welcomed you here to Willamette Law on Orientation Day. Now you're here, already, finished with law school, ready to join the Willamette alumni family and walk in the footsteps of countless distinguished graduates. At Willamette, our mission is to prepare graduates to turn knowledge into action. Today, we honor what you have learned and accomplished here, and we celebrate what you will achieve now as Willamette alumni. You're graduating into a world of paradox. Information is abundant, but wisdom is scarce. The institutions that we've long trusted are under pressure. Democratic norms that once seemed durable have proven fragile. The pace of change is disoriented. In just the few short years that we've been together here, We've watched your chosen profession be transformed in unexpected ways by the arrival of AI, which at its best could accelerate legal research, automate routine tasks, and expand access to justice. But we've also seen some embarrassing examples of lawyers attempting to outsource their responsibilities to a hallucinating computer. And more importantly, we've been confronted with new risks that AI introduces to society. New and poorly understood biases in hiring algorithms, the erosion of human perspective and judgment, and the potential concentration of power, including legal power, among those who control both the systems and the vast reservoirs of data being collected about each of us. But it is exactly because the world is such a dynamic and challenging place that I take comfort from your accomplishments here. Your Willamette education has taught you to think critically about systems, to distinguish between the expedient and the right, to recognize when process matters as much as outcomes, and to understand that justice demands both impartiality and accessibility. You enter this profession at an inflection point with both the responsibility and the capacities to be stewards of the principles that make justice possible in a rapidly changing world. That responsibility is not simply to preserve what you inherit, but to reimagine and rebuild, to shape institutions that are equal to the demands of this time, grounded in enduring values of justice, equity, and democratic responsibility. Law is ultimately about people. You have been entrusted with the noble work of being guardians of truth, the voice for the voiceless, and agents of change. You have been trained to navigate complex legal landscapes and to challenge injustice. You have the power to defend the rights of the marginalized, to reshape broken systems, and to promote a more just society. And with this privilege comes the obligation to wield it wisely, ethically, and with unwavering integrity. Know that we have confidence in you. Know that you will always be a part of this university. Please stay in touch with one another, reach out to alumni for support, and then support future students as you can. Regardless of where you decide to employ your talents, I look forward with great anticipation to hear about the ways that you have carried on the proud legacy of this great institution in years to come. But for now, class of 2026, let me bestow upon you the traditional Willamette President's Blessing. When you depart from this commonwealth of learning, may your life bring you some work of noble note. May you find meaning in your commitment to others, and may your memories of Willamette University be undying. Good luck and best wishes to you all.
Thanks so much, President Thorsett. And thank all of you for joining us today to celebrate the class of 26. It's been such an honor to watch all of you learn throughout these 3 years. We can't wait to see what you do next. I can predict the future a little, though, because from here, students and faculty will recess to the law building to collect your belongings. We then are going to head to our reception, which is immediately afterward. The reception is going to take place in the Cat Cavern, which is on the second floor of the Putnam University Center, which is located behind the Smith Auditorium. So go around either side, and you'll see the University Center on the far side. We hope all of you in the audience will join us there immediately after the recessional to celebrate with all of our graduates and with all of you. So once again, congratulations to the class of 2026, and we will conclude with the benediction.
At the dismissal, we would graciously ask friends and family if you can remain seated until the processional of graduates has gone out. And for the benediction, if the faculty and administration would rise and the graduating seniors would rise and receive this benediction. As you leave this place and step into what comes next, may you carry forward not only what you have learned, but what you have become. May you use your knowledge with wisdom, your gifts with generosity, and your influence with integrity. May you remain open to wonder, grounded in compassion, and courageous in the face of complexity. And may you remember that the truest measure of a life is not simply success, but the good we do, the people we serve, and the communities that we help strengthen along the way. We hope we have blessed you, and we know that you have blessed us. Go forward with gratitude, purpose, and hope. And first, would you just thank with me again the faculty and administration? And then one last time, the graduating class of 2026. You are dismissed.